morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Millie, and today we are going to discuss Acriflavine. Acriflavine. That's the two ways I heard it's pronounced. So today we're just going to discuss what exactly is it used for, which diseases, how to use it, how not to use it, what medications you can combine it with, and a little bit of its history. So let's get started. But a fun fact is that Acriflavine has been used in humans before. Acriflavine was a lotion used as a topical antiseptic solution, and it was yellow or orange in color, and they used it in World War II to combat parasites that caused sleeping sickness. It was also used as a topical ointment for different kinds of fungi or different types of bacterial infections that occurred on the skin of humans. So that's quite interesting. I think it was first developed in 1912. So that's quite a fun fact for you. Acriflavine is quite a broad spectrum usage used for in aquarium fish, and it's generally used to combat certain types of fungi. It can combat certain types of bacterial infections in fish, and even to disinfect open wounds in koi's and freshwater aquarium fish. So we normally use it as a long-term bath. We don't normally use it as a short-term bath, especially not for beginners. It can really stress out fish. So we use it either as a short-term bath or a long-term bath. We generally do not really administer Acriflavine orally or in food. Acriflavine is really good to use as a quarantine medication, and it generally targets a large group of negative gram bacteria and a few types of positive gram bacteria. And negative gram bacterial diseases normally occur in freshwater fish. That is why Acriflavine is so nice to use in fresh water. So negative gram is basically under a microscope when the organism absorbs a pink stain into its nucleus. I think it's called the nucleus, but it absorbs the ink, and if it absorbs pink, then you know it's a negative gram bacteria or a purple stain. And if it absorbs a blue or a cool toned stain, then you know it's a positive gram bacteria. So that's basically what negative gram and positive gram bacteria means. But we know that most pathogens in freshwater fish tends to be negative gram. So Acriflavine is great for quarantine, especially as a first step when you receive fish, to get rid of a lot of negative gram bacterial types. So the diseases that Acriflavine generally works well for is oedenium, which is velvet disease, definitely characterized by small little fine yellow spots. It's very fine. It's much smaller than Ictopherius multifilus spots that form like white spot disease. It's very fine little yellow spots, and this is known as velvet disease, and it's highly effective against that. It does work against ick, white spots, but it's often used in malachite green, with malachite green, to enhance the efficacy in destroying ick. It can be used for fin rot, certain types of fin rot, and remember, fin rot doesn't always occur by disease. Sometimes it's occurred by poor water quality or organic pollution. So fin rot that is caused by bacterial disease, you can characterize often by white edges that tends to get moldy. It almost looks moldy, and it rots away towards the base of the fish's tail. This tends to be bacterial fin rot, and Acriflavine is highly effective for this. Acriflavine is also effective for egg fungus, and we additionally, a lot of us know that we can use methylene blue also to target the fish eggs. And also I know that Acriflavine is often used for cotton mouth disease. Cotton mouth disease. It's caused by columnaris disease, often formed as part of the flavobacterium type of bacterial diseases, which is like a rod-shaped little bacteria you see under a microscope, and it's aerobic and a negative gram bacteria. So Acriflavine works for this negative gram bacteria for sure. Cottonmouth disease. Types of chemicals or medications can Acriflavine be used with? Well, we know that we can definitely combine it with malachite green in certain formulations. You'll often see that if you buy anti-fin rot or anti-mouth fungus or whatever, you'll see that often they use malachite green in combination with it, because Acriflavine can also harm the proliferation or the growth of protozoa that tends to grow externally on fish. Ammonia neutralizing products or phosphate absorbing products can be used when you use Acriflavine. It tends not to affect the efficacy of Acriflavine. We can definitely use aquarium salt in combination with Acriflavine, especially if you have external, really severe external issues like open wounds. You can use aquarium salt. You can also use Acriflavine in combination with Epsom salt, and it can be used as an alternative to malachite green or with malachite green, like I said. It can be used together with methylene blue, but normally we use Acriflavine separate or we use methylene blue separate when we prevent fungus mycelia from forming on the eggs. There are a few warnings when it comes to using Acriflavine. For example, don't mix it with other types of antibiotics like tetracycline or some of these antibiotics. It's not recommended. You also should not use Acriflavine when you have invertebrates in your tank, for example shrimps or snails. If Acriflavine is combined with malachite green, you can't use it on stingrays, for example, or different types of invertebrates. So you need to be careful. A big warning as well is don't use Acriflavine, especially not at a full dosage, like 2 milligrams per liter, 1.5 or 2 milligrams per liter. Don't use it on live plants. It does harm live plants, it can harm their growth, so that is why normally we use Acriflavine in a separate quarantine or hospital tank in a bare bottom setup without any aquarium plants. If you're going to use plastic plants and you use a full dosage, it depends on the formulation from each company, but it can often stain your clothing and it can stain plastic plants, so you need to be careful. Also, Acriflavine should not really be used in a very acidic pH. It can affect its efficacy when Acriflavine is used below a pH of 7. I find that a pH of 6.8 is still okay, but when it's 6.5, 6.2, the efficacy of Acriflavine starts to decrease. So Acriflavine's optimal use is at a pH of 7 or above. You also cannot use Acriflavine in combination with UV lights and sterilization. So when you use medication, you switch off your UV lights. Most aquarium hobbyists know this. I hope you guys enjoyed this basic overview on Acriflavine. It's an awesome medication to use, especially in quarantine. And if there's any questions, feel free to drop it and I'll answer it as soon as I can. And I'll see you again in the next video. Oh, and there's some bonus footage. I've got some baby discus growing again after I lost everything last year. There's some good progress. I managed to beat the disease that wiped out my system last year. So I'm slowly but surely building new discus babies. Yeah, building new setups full of discus babies. Building discus babies. I mean, raising discus babies. So I'm raising 4 colors, which is cobalt, pigeon blood blue, solid fire red, and a little bit of checkerboards. And I'm so excited! So I'll just show you guys a quick update on that as well. And I still need to sort them by size. But yeah, I'll show you quick. What is that? Something there, Chippy! Oh yeah, I've got angels too. The red Manacapurus and the green turkeys, they're kind of grouping by themselves. And yeah, so I've got some angels to keep the dream alive. Breeding stock, these guys are from Singapore. Not the best shapes, but what I like about Singapore is often the ocean green, solid turquoise looking mint pigment in these guys. Yeah. My kiddos, they're still in quarantine, but they're looking good. My new children, they are not used to me yet because I bought them as adults. There's a pair forming over there. There's Thor, my big boy.